and welcome to another lesson of English. This is the beginning of English 2, and we're going to start with the first lesson of verbs in past. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to conjugate verbs in past. You're going to see some dialogues and examples, some tips for you to learn to remember how to conjugate and when. Usually, we use the verbs in past to talk about memories, experiences, when we tell stories. And we're going to see the structure as well. In English, we have two types of verbs in past. We have regular verbs and irregular verbs. En esta parte de la lección de Inglés 2, vamos a ver la diferencia de los verbos regulares y de los irregulares cuando se conjuga al pasado. Todos los verbos regulares son los verbos obedientes que siguen una estructura y los irregulares se conjugan de diferentes formas y de la manera en que está estructurada es la forma en la que tenemos que conjugar. Esta primera parte vamos a ver únicamente en esta lección los verbos regulares y en la siguiente vamos a ver los irregulares. Presten atención. When we use simple past, we're going to use it for completed actions, actions that have a beginning and an end. Cuando hablamos de sucesos que tuvieron un principio y un final, es ahí cuando vamos a usar el pasado simple. Veamos la diferencia entre el presente y el pasado. For present, I have I, you, we, they, he, she, it. I, you, we, they work. He, she, it works. For past is the same conjugation. Worked, worked. Example, you worked yesterday. He worked last week. Examples, I learned something new at English class. He walked in the park yesterday. We wanted to eat pizza today. She cooked pasta with her family. If you see here, I'm using pronouns I, he, we, she, and is the same conjugation. Cuando son verbos regulares, independientemente del pronombre que utilicemos, es la misma conjugación. Learn, learned, walk, walked, want, wanted, cook, cooked. Now let's see the time frames. When we talk about things that happened in the past, we're going to say when it happened. To say a specific time, I can say these words. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, last night, last month, last year, last week. So if you see the regular verbs in simple past, we're just going to add the ed. Want, wanted, learn, learned, stay, stayed, walk, walked, cook, cooked. Now, for verbs that end in E, we're just going to put a D. For example, change, changed, believe, believed. Cuando el verbo termina en una E, simplemente vamos a agregar la D. Verbs ending in Y, we're going to put IED in the past. For example, to cry. Si el verbo en este caso termina en Y, solo voy a agregar IED, cuando lo conjuguemos a pasado. Example, the baby cried yesterday. Now, there are also some exceptions. When the verbs end in short vowel and except Y or W, we double the final consonant. va a haber algunos verbos regulares que tengan alguna excepción que cuando agreguemos la ed se va a repetir el último consonante, como en el caso de stop, commit, stop, stopped, commit, committed. Now let's see questions in past. Para hacer preguntas en pasado vamos a tener que utilizar auxiliares. ¿Se acuerdan que cuando hacemos preguntas en tiempo presente utilizamos unos auxiliares que son palabras que nos ayudan para formular preguntas? De la misma forma vamos a utilizar en pasado, pero es un auxiliar diferente. Para presente, si se acuerdan, vamos a utilizar el auxiliar do para preguntas en el tiempo presente, para I, you, we, they. Example, do you speak English? For he, she, it, I am going to use does. Does she speak English? Ahora, en pasado se utiliza el mismo auxiliar para todos los pronombres. El auxiliar que vamos a utilizar es did. Esta palabra nos va a ayudar a formular preguntas en pasado. Ahora, aquí una nota muy interesante. Cuando utilicemos did, el verbo va a ir en presente. No se asusten que a lo mejor van a pensar que no los van a entender porque el verbo está en presente y ustedes quieren hacer una pregunta sobre un suceso que ya aconteció. Cuando se utiliza el did ya me indica que la pregunta está hablando en un tiempo pasado. Sin embargo, la regla es, cuando yo utilizo did, siempre voy a poner el verbo en presente. Cuando esto va, el verbo va en tiempo presente. Example, did you study yesterday? Did you study yesterday? Did she travel to New York? Did she travel to New York? Now let's see the difference between an affirmation and a question. Vamos a ver la misma frase cuando es una afirmación y una pregunta. You traveled to Cancun. Did you travel to Cancun? If you see here, I'm adding the ed, but when it's a question, I'm going to use the auxiliary did. Now the rule is, when I use did, the verb needs to be conjugated in present. You traveled to Cancun. Did you travel to Cancun? She listened to music. Did she listen to music? They walked in the park. Did they walk in the park? Now let's see negation in past. Ahora, si se acuerdan, cada vez les he dicho que cuando se hace una negación en inglés, siempre vamos a utilizar la palabra not. Esto nos va a indicar que es una negación. De igual manera, vamos a agregar al auxiliar not para indicar que eso no sucedió en el pasado. Example, I did not go to the park. She did not study Italian. Podemos utilizarlo de manera separada o su contracción. Didn't. I didn't go to the park. She didn't study Italian. Si ven, independientemente que sea did or did not, cuando viene esto en la frase, voy a utilizar el verbo conjugado en presente, independientemente si este auxiliar viene de manera positiva o negativa. Now let's see the question and answer together. Did you travel on Christmas? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Did she cook pasta? Yes, she did. No, she didn't. Did they learn English? Yes, they did. No, they didn't. So in summary, the auxiliary did is to make questions in past and say negations in past. ¿Cuándo vamos a utilizar este auxiliar did? Tanto para hacer preguntas en pasado como para hacer una negación. Didn't. Now we're going to learn the word ago. Ago. We use ago to say a specific time in the past. 5 years ago, I lived in Toronto. 3 months ago, she wanted to travel to Rome. 2 years ago, they studied English in Canada. Note how the verb is in past. Lived. 5 years ago, I lived in Toronto. 3 months ago, she wanted. Ed. Ed. 2 years ago, they studied English in Canada. Now let's see different dialogues that we can use in simple past. Hi Mark, what did you do yesterday? I worked all day. And you? I rested in my house and watched movies. Really? I wish I could do that. And how is your sister? My sister is fine. I visited her last week. Notice the verbs worked, rested, watched, visited her last week. In summary, we saw the verbs in simple past. For regular verbs, we're going to add the ed. For example, I walked to the park yesterday. Vocabulary in past, last week, last night, yesterday. Acuérdense, si yo digo I walked to the park, yo caminé al parque, no sabemos con exactitud cuándo sucedió. Para esto vamos a utilizar el otro vocabulario que es last week, last night, para indicar cuándo sucedió eso. Ago también se utiliza para tiempos específicos en el pasado, que normalmente es a partir de un mes o algunos años. No podríamos decir yesterday ago. Ago se utiliza más para periodos más largos de tiempo. Example, 5 years ago I had a dog. We also learned the auxiliary did to make questions. Did you go to school today? Remember that when I use did, the verb is in present. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Remember to practice whenever you can. A tip that would help me when I was learning the language was to keep a diary and write what I would do during the day, and this way I would use the verbs in past. So this is something that you can also do, or if you want to send emails to your friends saying updates on what you've been doing, you can also do this since you're practicing verbs in past, as well as sharing stories, experiences, and different things that already happened. So remember that in any moment you can press pause or go back to the video and repeat as much as you want. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next lesson.